We are back answering your Medicare and health insurance questions. Dr. Catherine Sevier, president of AARP North Carolina, and Brandy Hill with All Insurance for You are taking your questions. All right, let's take a look at, we have several Medicaid questions, Medicare questions after we just talked about Medicare Part A and Part B. This person says, I thought you had to sign up for Part A when you enrolled and Part B later when you're not on a private plan. So Catherine, let's talk about that and clarify it.
So you can waive Part B if you meet the criteria for waiving it, and they're fairly complicated. So you'd want to talk with your HR department, but you have to work for a company that has more than 20 employees that are covered. Otherwise, if you waive it then and your plan it doesn't qualify, you could be hit with a penalty later. So you want to be really careful.
Okay, but you still have to sign up for Part A and Part B, and then you waive Part B.
You can, yes.
Okay, all right. Brandy, this person is asking, if a couple out of business gets married, do they have to be on the same health insurance policy, or can they be on separate health insurance plans still?
Oh yeah, you can stay on separate plans, but sometimes it's really beneficial to join to have your plans together because you're sharing the deductibles or the max out of pockets, that sort of thing. So you really want to evaluate those.
Run the numbers and see what is best for you. All right, Catherine, this person says, I'm in a Medicare plan on that I did on early enrollment, but I'm not happy with this plan. Can I change healthcare plans?
You can change only during the open enrollment without, you can change in open enrollment. Otherwise, you have to have a qualifying event, or I think Brandy would tell you that you might be able to buy a short-term supplement. But I would not discontinue my plan until I was able to determine whether or not I could find another plan that was suitable.
Brandy, did you have anything to add to that one?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, this one I think is for you. It says, can you apply for Medicare if you are approved for disability?
So you can apply for Medicare, but after you have been disabled for 2 years or more, you are eligible for moving to Medicare.
This person is saying, I received a bill for my COVID test. How should I handle this since I believe that the cost should be covered? They said that they have Medicare and they have Cigna.
So yeah, they would definitely want to contact Cigna about getting that refiled probably, or asking for a reimbursement.
And sometimes that takes a little bit of time to make that request, to file in that claim, but it's something that you should follow through and do, especially if you think that your insurance company is supposed to cover that.
Sure, absolutely.
And you may want to check with whoever provided the test to make sure they billed appropriately, because if you are on Medicare, they should have your Medicare number, and it should have been taken care of immediately.
And so that is something, calling back that same place where you got that test and asking them if they have your number or to recode it in the correct way?
Yes.
And I know that takes some patience, doesn't it, when you're dealing with all of that. All right, this person is saying, my health care insurance that they got at the marketplace went from $38 per month last year to $296 this year. That is a huge jump. Are other people seeing this happen?
Unfortunately, we did see that this year during enrollment. The federal subsidy level went down a little bit, and the premiums went up some. So you have to manually make sure you go in and adjust your income and everything to make sure you're getting the maximum level of subsidy. Of course, every year you want to reevaluate your plan because there are new plan options as well. So you may be able to find a plan that is more competitive in pricing too.
And at this point, can you still go in and update that kind of information on the marketplace website, or no?
Unfortunately, no. Once you've made your plan decision by December 15th, you're stuck with that unless you have a special enrollment period, like a life change.
And I know we talked a lot during enrollment time about how just because you had a certain plan doesn't mean you should roll over and just use that same plan again. So we need to keep that in mind for next year as well. This person is asking, if I recently lost my job, which means I also lost my health benefits, what do I need to do now to get coverage?
Oh yeah, so that's a life change. That's a special event. So you have up to 60 days to apply for coverage through the marketplace. So you want to, go online or check with your local agent and get some coverage right away.
Okay, we talked extensively about Medicare, all the different parts, when you should enroll. We talked about health care plans as well. We've got that information in the Two Wants to Know section. Dr. Sevier, thank you so much for joining us. Brandy, thank you so much for joining us and giving us your expertise. We're still talking insurance in the next 15 minutes. Christopher Cook will be here to answer a wider range of insurance questions when it comes to home insurance, car insurance, flood insurance, earthquake insurance. Does it exist? We're going to talk about it when we come back.